Okay, so this is the first app, Outfit Picker. It says run this program, watch the code run, and then carefully read each individual part of the program. Discuss, so these are the questions I just talked about. Discuss these questions with a partner and be prepared to share these answers with the class. You'll probably just be sharing them with somebody who's picked the other app. Lines 1 and 2, why does this program use two lists? Right? What is each one storing? Why does this program include the variables tops index and bottoms index? So just kind of go through each of these items and take a look and ask yourself these questions. If time allows, make the following modifications to the program. Edit the if statements on line 18 and through 20 so that the tops index is set to 0 if the user hits the right button when they're already at the end of this list. I'll show you an example of what they're talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and run this right quick. This is how it starts. So as I click these buttons, you can see I have different tops. When I get to the end here, it doesn't let me progress beyond here. Same thing like when I go back to the beginning, if I keep clicking this button, I get nothing else. So here's our bottoms, right? Okay. So that's the question, right? Here's our tops list. Here's our bottoms list. Notice that these are lists. These are empty lists. The tops index, all of our lists start with an index of 0. There's a function called filled lists. There is a function called update screen. So on event left top button, so that would be this button over here on the left-hand side for the tops. When it gets clicked, if the tops index is greater than 0, then tops index equals tops index minus 1. So as long as this is greater than 0, which right now it is 0, I think even if we, let's go up here and see tops index. We can find out what the value of tops index is just simply by typing in the console. One of the nice things about having global variables is that those values are accessible from anywhere. So I can type tops index and hit enter, and you can see that it has a value of 0. If I go 1 and I repeat tops index, and I hit enter, you can see it now has 1. And so you can see this is the image that's associated with that value, etc., etc. When we go back to 0, it's, when we go back this way, it's going to be minus 1, right? So as long as tops index is greater than 0, then tops index equals tops index minus 1. And then update screen just does our update screen process. We've seen this before where we've taken a function called update screen, and whenever it gets called, it updates the screen to whatever values or whatever we need to have displayed. Okay, same thing with this right top button, right? This basically says, hey, if the tops index is less than tops list.length, that nice guy from Australia talked about length. I talked about it yesterday as well. No, I should say in lecture 1 as well. I talked about it in lecture 1 as well. That the top index, so that would be this very last item here, has a top value of whatever the length is minus 1. Why? Because we start at 0. So in this case, tops index is the value of 5. So there's 6 items, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our array. So like if I did tops list and dot length, we'll get the value of 6 because there's 6 items. But the top index is length minus 1. That's just the way it is. So this is basically saying, hey, as long as we haven't reached the end, we'll just we'll say this, tops index is tops index plus 1. What would happen if we modified this like this? I'll just do that. I'll hit reset, and then we'll go run. And here we go. And look at that. See, look at this. Undefined is not a string. Set property is not a string. If I went to tops index length, now I want tops index. Well, the value is 6 right now. Well, do we have a 6th item? No, we don't. So that's a problem, right? Here's our watchers over here. I didn't notice them till just now. But it can't find the next item, whatever item that is. It's looking for these items. It's like, I can't find this. This doesn't exist. So this is why we have a problem. Okay. So let's just take that back to -1. And let's set the value of tops index to equal 5, which is the top index of our tops index. Ha. Okay. Now, like, click, click, click. Oh, still doing it. What? Why are we this way? All right. Oh, that's why. Because I didn't run it. All right. So now it doesn't give us that warning stuff. Okay. Doesn't give us that warning stuff because we're not allowing it to go any higher than this value anyway. Okay. Update screen just basically gives us our list of images. Fill lists, yellow hoodie. Okay. Top list, bottom list. So we could, if we wanted to, if we had something that was the right size, we could add this information up here and just put it into our list. That's kind of neat. Okay. So that's kind of how this whole thing works. And edit the if statement on lines 18 through 20 so that the tops index is set to 0 if the user hits the right button when they're already at the end of the list. Okay. 18 through 20. We could, I think, if I did this, if I remember correctly, else. Basically, if this top condition is not true, we'll hit the else condition, and then that else will be tops index equals 0. So let's see if that works. I keep wanting to hit Control S. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reset, hit run. Okay, and you can see that we can cycle through this. Neat, right? What about the other way? No, we can't do that there. So we can modify the top left button with the same process. So just hit else. You do not have to do this, but I'm showing it to you just so that you guys can see how it works. So then we would say tops index equals tops list dot length. I think that's all we need. No, it might be length minus 1. Let's do that. Let's see if that works. Yep, length minus 1. I feel better about that because there is no length indice. There is no length indice. There's no, the top indice is always length minus 1, just like I said. All right, let's hit reset and run, and it cycles through also. Cool. If you want to challenge yourself, do the same thing for the bottoms, right? Because we can see that it stops at a certain point. Same thing with the other way, right? You see how to do it for the tops. Try it for the bottoms. Cool. We can hit finish and we're done.